Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I can't join you in person, but I'm glad to be able to join you by video clip today. My name is Ron Mirr, and I'm an educational consultant based in Iowa City, Iowa. I'm a social worker by training, and my first job in the school was in 1981, which means I'm fairly old. I've worked with schools for over 40 years. In that time, I've learned a lot. I started off as a mental health clinician, and I've also worked as a school administrator, staff developer, and a consultant to schools in nearly every state, as well as in several other countries. And I've been lucky enough to be able to work with folks from Pinellas over the last several years. Since 1993, the primary focus of my work has been to help schools partner with families in ways that support student learning. In 1995, I met a woman named Dr. Karen Mapp, and she teaches in the Harvard Graduate School of Education. She's our nation's leading authority on effective homeschool partnerships. And in my work with her since 1993, I've learned a lot about how we can make homeschool partnerships an effective instructional strategy. When you look at the over 50 years of research that's out there, we really do know how to partner with families in ways that make a difference to student learning. One of the things we've learned in the past 50 years is that most of the ways we traditionally engage families actually have little or no impact on student learning. We need to make our homeschool partnerships an instructional strategy. And when we do that, students perform better in school. They come to school more often. They don't disrupt the learning environment. They get better grades and test scores. They take more challenging courses. They're more likely to graduate, and they're more likely to continue their learning past high school. What's great is that these kinds of partnerships, this holds true for all students, regardless of their family's income, their ethnicity, their family's education levels, or what language they speak at home. Make homeschool partnerships an instructional strategy. We really have to do three things. First, we have to build trusting relationships with every single family. We need every family to believe we care about them and we care about their child. Trust is paramount. It has to come first, but it takes a long time to develop. Once families trust us, we can ask them to go on this journey and do the things in partnership with us that make a difference to student success. But once we have this trusting relationship, the next thing we have to do is make sure every family can answer the question, is my child at, above, or below grade level? We share performance data with families all the time. We have conferences, report cards, we have these parent portals. What the research tells us, though, is that over 90% of families in the US don't understand the performance data we share with them. They actually believe their child is performing or above grade level. Over 90% of families think their child is at or above grade level. And that's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is that when families think their child is fine, they aren't motivated to do the things at home that really make a difference in learning. So once we have that relationship, we help them understand where their child's performing. Now, the third thing we have to do is we have to give families the competence and the confidence to support their child's learning at home. And that doesn't come from sending home a newsletter or having a random literacy night or a random math night. It comes from providing families with multiple opportunities to practice and receive coaching support on skills they can apply at home that make a difference to their child, skills that address their child's academic needs. Now we're in this crazy COVID time, and this pandemic has taken over 700,000 lives in the US. It's made us all mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. In spite of the fact that COVID has disrupted our lives in so many ways, it actually has produced a few silver linings. One thing it's done is really helped educators and families appreciate how much we need each other and what can happen to support kids when we work together. Prior to the pandemic, we did most of our work with families in person. We expected them to come to us. But now, thanks to the pandemic, we're all much more comfortable using a variety of platforms like social media or teacher apps like Remind or Class Dojo and virtual platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, Facebook Live. We can use all of these different channels to connect with families. So throughout this school year, I hope you build on those lessons learned from the pandemic and what the research tells us about how to build effective partnerships that make a difference to learning. I hope you're able to have in-person and virtual events and to use all of those other channels to first ensure we have that strong, trusting relationship with all of our families, that we make sure they understand how well their child is performing, and that we provide them with as many opportunities as possible to practice and get feedback on skills that they can apply at home. Making your homeschool partnerships and instructional strategy actually will take more work up front because it means doing differently. But once you put that work in and you begin partnering with families in ways that are connected to learning, you will see a difference in student success. Best of luck this year, building those relationships with families and really helping families know what to do to help every child be successful.